The 5 questions you should ask your doctor at your next appointment is what this article is called. And I want to put a little bit of a spin on it because I think these are important questions to ask, but I don't necessarily agree with the questions that they highlight in this article. So we're going to go through and I'm going to give you my opinion as to the questions you should ask your doctor next time you have an appointment. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Nick Sorowski. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and to check out my whole library of videos, go to www.drz.tv. Okay, so your doctor often has 5 to 15 minutes to see you, this goes on to say, and every minute counts. So when you are at your doctor's appointment, they're basically saying you got to make sure you're asking the right questions. But I don't think that the questions that they highlight in this article are the right questions at all. And like I see patients every day. I have over 15,000 patient visits that I've done. And, I think that it's important to ask the right questions and not the traditional medical mindset type of questions, but more of the holistic mindset type of questions that are going to lead you down a better treatment path, but also help you get better results long term and promote longevity. Okay, so first question is, how long will I be sick? Okay, that's what they say you should ask your doctor. And their justification for this is, if your condition is uncommon, ask your doctor how many cases like yours they have seen and how those patients have done. This will increase the understanding or your understanding of your illness and the timeline for recovery, and may even give you a few ideas on the best ways to recover. So I think that's an interesting question, but I don't think that's number one on your list, okay? Number one on your list should be, well, why did this happen and what is the root cause of my illness, okay? I'm gonna use, let's pick one here. Let's use diabetes. Let's use type 2 diabetes as an example here. So if you ask them, why did this happen and what is the root cause? That's a very powerful question, okay? Because you're going to get, if the doctor is being honest and doesn't just give you some ridiculous answer like, oh, it's genetic. If they tell you the truth, they're going to say, well, it's because you haven't eaten right for a lot of years and you haven't taken care of yourself. You've been eating a lot of junk food, a lot of processed foods, a lot of high sugar foods, and high carb foods, and this is how you have led yourself down this path here. That would be a good thing to understand. Well, why would that be a good thing to understand? So that you can be in the driver's seat of your own health and make changes. Because here's the thing, is that a lot of people will go to doctors, they think it's up to the doctor to make the change for you. And to a certain point it is, but it also is up to you to a high degree, right? Because the only person responsible for you and your health is you, because you're the one who has to live in your body. So you want to always make sure that you're taking action in improving your health, okay? So how long will I be sick? Let's scratch that, but let's push it. Let's not write it off completely. Let's push it down a little bit, okay? So the next question, they say, what are the most common side effects of the medication and how do I treat them? Are there any uncommon side effects that I should know about? Okay, well, to a certain point, look, if you're being put on medication, yeah, it'd be good to know what kind of side effects that are there, but I have a better question because this is assuming that you went in for your, like I said, hypothetically, we're talking about type 2 diabetes here. You went in for your type 2 diabetes and they just put you on a diabetic medication, right? But I would be more interested at this point in knowing what you could do to solve this condition naturally. So number 2 question that I'm going to recommend that you ask if you go to your doctor, is there anything that I can do to treat this condition naturally, right? Because there's a lot of things. If you're a type 2 diabetic, you can take fenugreek seed, you can take berberine, you can obviously change your diet. There's so many things you can do. And so we want to know how to treat this naturally versus, well, thanks for the medication, doc. Could you tell me all the side effects? Like I said, I think the side effects are important because most people go on medications and they literally don't have any clue what they're taking, why they're taking it. I mean, let me give you an example. I recently had a patient who ended up with a H. pylori infection. The doctor gave him an extraordinarily strong antibiotic, which put him into an autoimmune crisis, causing inflammatory reactions so bad that this individual could hardly open their jaw because they could hardly open their jaw to eat because the inflammation was so bad from this autoimmune condition kicked off by the antibiotics. So it's good to know the side effects, and most doctors probably couldn't even tell you off the top of their head the side effects. However, it's good to know them if you are taking medication. But remember, it's always about asking better questions. If you want better answers, ask better questions. So is there anything I can do to treat this naturally would be the better question here. Number 3, I'm taking a lot of meds to treat my heart failure. Do I need to be on all these meds, and if yes, what side effects do I need to watch for? Once again, it's going down that traditional treatment model of, well, I have a problem, give me the meds, what do I gotta watch out for? Okay, and obviously, if you're on multiple meds, yes, you do need to watch out for all the crazy interactions and the synergistic reactions that can happen between all of them. That's very important. But I have a better question to ask here, right? Because we want to be in the driver's seat and take control of the situation. So, number 3 question that I would ask the doctor is, what changes can I make in my life to help solve the problem? Again, let's go back to the type 2 diabetes. The doc could say something like, you can start exercising, you can change your diet, you can remove all processed foods and processed sugars and carbohydrates and all these different foods that are actually causing the problem. You can follow an anti-inflammatory diet. Okay, so there's all these things that you can do. So we can think like, sure, there's different nutrients we can take to solve type 2 diabetes, but then there's also things that you can do to actively participate in the lifestyle that also helps reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay, so next question is, what if I have medication side effects and they don't go away? Or if my current symptoms get much worse? Okay, back to the old medication. So basically what they're saying is, go to your doctor and drill them on the medication, okay? Well, once again, knowing the ins and outs of every medication, I mean, if you're going to take medication, it is good to know, but how about we ask better questions, once again, that offer us better results? And number 4, the question I'd recommend is, how long will this take to solve this health concern naturally? Okay, so as I said from the very beginning, there was this question, well, how long will I be sick? How about how long will it take to solve this health condition naturally? Okay, because I don't even like that question. How long will I be sick? It's kind of like negative, right? It's looking at the negative. How long will it take to solve this health condition and solve it naturally? And that's a good question to ask your doctor, because, for instance, if you have type 2 diabetes, a lot of people, I mean, look, we live in a world right now where everybody wants results and they want it now. And look, I fall victim to that. We all do. And a lot of people who wouldn't understand how to solve a health problem and solve it naturally, they would think that, well, okay, doctor said to take some natural supplements, and the doctor said to eat right, and it should just be gone right away. No, when you are looking at natural healing, it takes time. I tell people all the time, look, it took you 30 years to get to this position where you are right now. You are not going to solve this overnight. You aren't going to solve it in weeks. It's going to take time. Your body needs time to heal. So it's good to have a proper understanding and projection as to when you will start getting better. I typically tell people, look, I can improve your quality of life within this period of time, but this problem will not be solved for usually a time that's far longer. So the initial period of time, I say, I can drastically improve your quality of life in 2 weeks. That's typically where I'm at with things. However, in order to truly solve this issue, it could take upwards of 6 months. Now, next question here. When should I see you again? And the question that I recommend is, how can I avoid this problem in the future? Okay, I'm all about empowering people. When I work with people, look, I mean, I know it's job security when, and I joke about this with people because people are like, well, what if I don't do this? And what if I don't want to keep up with this? I said, that's fine. It's job security for me. You'll be back to see me and it's going to cost you more money and I'll make more money. And I say that jokingly because I want them to truly follow with what I'm telling them to do. And I don't want to see them again. And it's not because I don't like them. It's because I want them to take care of themselves. And so how can I avoid this problem in the future is a powerful question. Once again, ask powerful questions that give you powerful answers that can change your life. And if you can avoid issues. Let's go to type 2 diabetes. How can I avoid this problem in the future? Well, what you can do is you continually exercise. You will have to make exercise a part of your daily life. You will need to make sure that you're eating healthy, make that part of your daily life. Depending on how bad the type 2 diabetes, the severity of it will depend on what level of strictness you'll have to follow in the future. So for instance, if your type 2 diabetes was very bad and you kind of blew out your insulin receptors and you're just not very capable of getting insulin into the blood sugar into the cell, and there's a lot of just upset in the body and degeneration of these processes and a total breakdown of the metabolism, you're going to avoid this problem by being very, very strict. However, if things aren't too bad, we can get you out of this rut, and then you can avoid this problem by following a good, healthy lifestyle 95% of the time, or 90% of the time, or 80% of the time, whatever it is. And so if we ask more powerful questions, we'll get the right answers, we'll solve our health problems, and that's how we'll truly live a better life. So the questions you could ask your doctor is, number one, why did this happen? And what is the root cause of this health concern? Question number two is there anything I can do to treat this naturally? That's a very, very powerful question because most doctors won't even consider it. It's not even in the realm of possibilities to most doctors. It's all about medication, okay? Because they think of what medication can I give you to solve this issue. You go and ask them, is there anything I can do to solve it naturally? Number three is, what changes can I make in my life to help solve the problem? You have to be willing to put a foot forward and make changes in your life and not just depend on a pill. How long will this take to solve this health concern? Because we want to have a proper understanding. It's good to mentally be in the right place and know how long we're going to be, maybe, digging our heels in to solve this issue, whatever it is, doing whatever it is that's needed in order to overcome the health concern. And question number five is, how can I avoid this problem in the future? Because that's a very powerful question, so that you know what action needs to be taken in order to avoid this issue and never face it again. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. It'll help get it out to more people. And also, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel.